Hey guys, welcome to the 127th, I believe. Yes, 127th edition of the Animated Girls Profile Confidential. I am recording this a week prior to when you are going to be listening to it. Of course, within a week I will be home anyway because I'll be off basically for about 5 days straight, 8 or 4 days straight, depending. We will see. But yeah, I will be off for kind of a mini vacation, just not really expected, but again, that might change. But anyway, here on the 127th edition, I want to talk about, here on the Animated Girls Profile Confidential, Brittany Miller. That's right, Brittany Miller of the Chipettes, of Alvin and Chipmunk fame. And, what more can be said about Brittany Miller's character? I mean, one, she is the lead singer, if you will, the face of the Chipettes, basically. And, she's basically, a lot of people would say, a female equivalent of Alvin. Because just like Alvin, when she gets, in the spotlight and everything, sometimes it goes straight to her head, and she has to be brought down. But the one thing about Brittany's character is she's one of those materialistic characters that has an ego, but also has a heart of gold. She's an egotistical material character that has a heart of gold. And this has been proven throughout the entire run of the original series, the movie, the original 87 movie, that is, even up to some of the interpretations today. And I don't think anybody can deny that. For example, I talk about the original 87 movie, after they escape from this palace, because basically they are promised, or at least Brittany is promised, to be this young prince's wife, if you will, within a decade's time, if you know what I mean. And she's not thrilled about that. So her and her sisters, they decided to escape. Now, during their time there, one of the sheiks, I guess you could say, sends them a wedding present. And this wedding present is a baby penguin. Now, Brittany at first kind of scoffs at this a little bit, basically, whatever happened to diamonds and rubies, right? Because Brittany's main goal, like Alvin's, is to prove who's better at actually traveling around the world and basically achieving a goal similar to the game they played. Because this all spermed, I should say, from a video game they were playing. Anyway, she scoffs at this at first. But then as they finally escape and, they're on the destination, back on track, I should say, to, get to the destination, win the race against Alvin and his brothers, Brittany wants something to eat. And Eleanor at first is like, don't do it. She tells Jeanette, don't open that chest. Don't do it. Which Brittany's like, gee, Eleanor, when it comes to food, you can be selfish, because Eleanor, she's basically a female Theodore, kind of has a little bit of a fascination with food. The appetites sometimes get away with not get away, but kind of run away with their minds, if you know what I mean. Anyway, though, back on point, Brittany discovers that the reason Brittany discovers the reason Eleanor didn't want her to open the chest is because instead of food, which I'm sure she did supply in there as well, she also stored away the baby penguin with the intention of them going a little off course to take the penguin back to his mother. Now, Brittany at first is a little annoyed by this. She tries to get Jeanette to talk some sense into Eleanor. Jeanette agrees that Eleanor has a point. Brittany basically tries to call him out on this, but then notices the penguin is watching it, the baby penguin, and she says, she tries to explain to the penguin, the the reason for all this, the reason kind of arguing a little bit, being apologetic about it, like, hey, I'm sorry that you have to see this, but, let me explain why. And as she's trying to explain, she notices, the look in the penguin, the sadness, and even the fact that he's not looking good. He's not looking really good. And that's when she finally decides, okay, how do we get to Antarctica? Basically, I guess you could say the egotistical heart of ice that basically enveloped the heart of gold that she has, melted. And the real Brittany emerged, finally. The real Brittany finally emerged. And all it took was this one moment. And, again, it's just a prime example of the fact that, like Alvin, she has an egotistical side to her, a materialistic side to her when she gets in the spotlight and everything, but that in the end, she is a good person. And just like Alvin, she does stand up for her sisters and for her friends. And there's many examples. The Brunch Club episode in the season that followed the movie is a good example of that. We've seen in the final season where they parodied a lot of movies that, even if she's playing a different character, she's willing to get her hands dirty, even while she's in a fancy dress, everything. So, so there's a lot of examples of the fact that even though she can have a bit of an ego side to her, she is a really good character. She's a very heartfelt individual, stands up for what's right, and everything, and you can't really say any more than that. You can't really say any more than that, and I'm kind of glad that they continued that trait, into the Alvin series on Nickelodeon, as well as in the live-action movies as well. So I'm kind of glad that they did that. Kind of glad. But, yeah. Like I said, she's like Alvin. She's like looked at as the face of the Chipettes, lead singer, to the point that when they need a Chipette character to be a female representation in something like, let's say, Rockin' with the Chipmunks, she's chosen. She is chosen. And a good example of that, I should say, is when they're doing their interpretation of Crocodile Rock, and you see a picture of Brittany on the piano, and it's like, could have chose anybody else? They went with Brittany. But yeah, what more can be said about Brittany's character that nobody else has already said? Besides the fact that, despite the fact that she can be very egocentric at times, she does have a heart of gold, and she does stand up for what's right. But anyway, that's all I'm going to really say on Brittany. Let me know what your thoughts are on Brittany. Thank you for watching this 127th edition of the Animated Girls Profile Confidential. There will be more to come throughout this upcoming week of when you're watching this and listening to it, because believe it or not, I got to provide you guys with content somehow. So until next time, guys, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Live chat during the premiere. Super thanks will be enabled afterwards. Super chats will be also available. And until then, peace.